Today our client requested to have her oven cleaned. We have a bit of extreme situation. There is a lot of grime embedded into the oven, so we're gonna need a lot of different techniques to make this thing look as close as possible to new. Today I will show you how to make an oven go from this to this. Step number one is protection. We're gonna use eye protection as well as using gloves. Just a second. Okay, let's begin. Perfect. Now that we got everything out of the way, we're going to move forward to put the cleaning solution. Many of you have been asking, what do we use? Breakup is what we use. You can find it on Amazon. We're going to shake this like really hard. Squeeze the side and then do your best thing to... There you go. That's how you open it. Now we're going to proceed to actually spray thoroughly and evenly across the entire oven. This thing has a little bit of a strong odor, so if you can open windows around yourself, it'll be the best. Also, anytime if this thing comes in contact with your skin, I just rinse it right away because it is very tough on your skin, so keep that in mind. So after we finish the inside, we're going to proceed to spray, again, evenly the whole oven door. Perfect. Now that we sprayed the entire oven, for best results, it's good to leave it sit for about 30 minutes and then come back and actually clean it. 30 minutes has been through. Let's take a look at the oven. It's looking good. The first thing we're going to do is actually take the rails out so that way we can have space to clean inside. Just by my hands, you can already see how good the product works and how much grime there is on the rails. Now that we've taken them off, we're going to move forward and rinse them thoroughly. The best part, look at this. I love this part of my job, guys. And we're going to move forward and give it a final scrub with a sponge. So after we finish cleaning the oven racks, we're going to first work with the brush to get all the details, and then we'll move forward with the next, okay? So look closely. As you do this, be very careful because you can already see the amount of grease. Careful to not like have the brush throw everything at you, so be mindful of that, okay? Now, something to keep in mind, why are we cleaning the door first? Well, the reason we're cleaning the door first is so that way when we clean the inside, we don't get all of this grime in our clothes, okay? So let's proceed to clean. First, I recommend to use napkins, and then we'll actually use cleaning racks, but napkins to remove the excess of grime, okay? That's why I recommend to use a napkin before an actual cleaning rack. Now we're gonna move forward and remove this grease. Just look at the difference. Wow, look at that. Now we come to the most satisfying part. Watch closely. Oh my God. Now we're gonna use a wet rag to give it a kind of like final wipe. To remove, again, we're just trying to remove the excess at the rag. Like, we already picked up way more. So if we look closely here, there's still a bunch of grime stuck, like both on the metal of the oven and the actual glass. So there's a following step that I'll teach you guys to how to remove this and this. Now that we're done wiping the door of the oven, we're going to move forward and clean the glass. Now, to remove the grime that is stuck into the glass, we're going to use an actual razor blade. You can find these blades in Lowe's or Home Depot, and again, they do excellent work. One thing you want to be mindful is don't ever go like this into the glass. You always want to go like a 45-degree angle, removing the grime carefully, okay? You can see how good, like, this would take ages to remove if you don't use a razor blade. Now that we're done with the glass, we're going to move forward and show you guys how to clean the grime that is stuck on into the metal of the oven, like the one that we have right here. That one is super hard to come off, but we're going to use a tool. It's a stone that is called Scouring stick. You can find this on Lowe's or Home Depot again, and it does really good work. My only advice is always use soapy water, some type of liquid, so it doesn't scratch the surface. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit of a wet sanding type of deal. We're gonna be using our own soapy water, the scouring stick, to remove the grime that is right here. Soapy water with the sponge, and again, we're just trying to get the surface wet, okay? Honestly, guys, it's called scouring stick, but I like to call it stone, okay? So we're gonna use our stone and gently scrub the metal. Now, this is gonna take some time, so be patient. To give it the final step, we're gonna use the wet rag, and then we're gonna use a dry one to detail it. Now, why a wet rag? In essence, we're gonna rinse the surface to remove the excess of the cleaning solution we were using, and then we're gonna use a dry one to make it look as perfect as possible. We're gonna use the wet rag, and we're gonna be gentle and careful enough to wipe every single inch. You don't see it's not a lot, but it's a little bit of a residue. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna flip it, just a clean face, and give it a second wipe. How do you know if it's streakless? You're gonna use your finger and you're gonna do this on the glass. If you don't see any type of like marks, that means that your glass is clean as it can be. Done with the door of the oven. Now, this is why I mentioned it's important to clean it beforehand. As we clean inside the oven, we're gonna be like rubbing ourselves like in this area. So now we can do it comfortably without ourselves getting dirty with the door, and clean the inside of the oven. Be patient, it's gonna take some time, but the results, they're really good. Same thing, we're gonna use napkins first to remove the excess of grime. So take a close look right here. After we finish cleaning the inside of the oven with the napkins, we're gonna move forward and use our brush to get to all the crevices and cracks that we were not able to get with the napkins, okay? So after we're finished with our brush, I'm gonna move forward with the sponge and scrub the rest of the surface. Again, just to remove the excess of gunk. We're gonna scrub the outside of the oven. And by the outside, I mean like this area right here. So after we scrub the entire oven, we're gonna move forward and wipe the excess with a rag. Again, we're just trying to be as thorough as possible. And again, we're just being careful to wipe every single surface, making sure we get underneath every single crevice, wiping everything down. And this is the final result. Takes some patience and elbow grease, but so satisfying to see the transformation. How many hours do you think this took? Let me know in the comments.